Last year I started a new series on my channel which I called Things I Love, whereby I looked at things that would make me pick up a book other than the usual, which is that, oh, the cover is pretty, or I found the synopsis intriguing. So for Things I Love, which is the series I started, like I said, I'm looking at the things about a book beyond the usual that will make me go, that is a book I absolutely want to have. Now, I know you're probably thinking, yeah, but Noria, there are so many graphic books with pictures. There are so many comics with pictures. Yeah, I'm looking at books that are outside of the usual graphic novels and comic books. So books that you would not expect to find art in them, but you end up finding art in them. So for example, even though I do love this book, that's a Snow Glass Apples by Neil Gaiman and Colin Doran, you can see that this in itself, you can see, it's stunning, but it's a graphic novel, and even though the art is pretty, it's a graphic novel, so it wouldn't make this list, unfortunately. But yeah, here are 10 books that have art in them that just absolutely completely take my breath away. I will kick things off with Night of Cakes and Puppets by Laini Taylor. This, okay, so this is a short novella that takes place between the events of book 1 and book 2 of the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. In this, we basically see exactly how Susanna and Mick became a couple. It's so cute, it's so fluffy, but what makes it even more breathtaking for me has to be the art. It is just so whimsical and also sometimes so terrifying, and also has Susanna in all her beauty, and it just suits her perfectly well. And I think this works even more for me because Carol is an artist. Her art is as much a part of her when we meet her in Daughter of Smoke and Bones. So seeing that replicated in this book, in this short, gorgeous, sweet, fluffy, amazing novella just makes my heart sing. And just, I repeat, it's just so pretty. Look at that art. Isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely stunning. Breathtaking. Love it. And then there's The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. Quite a lot of Neil Gaiman books are going to make it to this list because he's someone that loves art, which is understandable because one of the first set of works he did was The Sandman, and it's a comic series, so you can understand just how much of a bond / closeness he has with different artists, and he's especially has a great relationship with Chris Riddell, who does a lot of illustrations for his books that need illustrations. So I'm certain you will not be surprised, but The Graveyard Book makes this list, especially this copy of it, because look at the, okay, so see, this is what I mean. It's not a graphic novel, so automatically it's not meant to have art, but you just be flipping the pages and there you go. See, art. And Chris Riddell does such great art, so it's not as much in this, but it's peppered through. You have to you have to work for it to get the art. But The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman, look at that. The art is pretty, and I always find it very interesting to see exactly the depiction, the sketches of these characters. Is it exactly how I pictured? Do they turn out the way I picture them in my head? There's a difference between, casting in a movie and exactly how they look like in character art, especially official character art that makes it in a book. So I love art in books. And then you have Fairy Tales for Lost Children by Duriye Osman. You already know, I've mentioned several times on my channel that this is one of my favorite books of all time, that Duriye Osman is one of my favorite authors of all time, and it's a collection of short stories. The writing is fantastic, but then you just see this, and this is not Duriye commissioning it though. No, this is legitimately him sketching. See that? Can you see that? He did that. That was his art. Like, isn't that just gorgeous? He's so freaking talented. Like, I can barely draw a stick figure to save my life. And I tell myself, I'm like, oh yes, I'm a writer. But then you have people like Duriye Osman who are both writers, and artists, and performance artists. And you're just like, is there anything you cannot do, Duriye? Is there anything you cannot do? But yes, definitely Fairy Tales for Lost Children. The art in it is just stunning. Let me see. Can I see another art? Yeah, see. Ooh. We just skip that. See? Art. Pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? stunning, absolutely stunning. One more reason why you should pick up Fairy Tales for Lost Children if you haven't already. And then there's Coraline by Neil Gaiman. Once again, the artist he partners with for this is Reda, and you can see, like, I love the fact that the way in which Reda drew the art for the Graveyard Book is totally different from the way in which he drew the art for Coraline. Like, see Coraline, isn't that pretty? Look at that, look at that. Let me see. Like, there you go. Look at that, look at that. Like, there's just something about seeing art in books that just it makes it further enhances the story, captures so many words in just a little picture. And once again, the fact that Chris Reda can give us one style for the Graveyard Book and give us something totally different from Coraline just speaks to his artistry and also how well he understands this character. And once again, I love the fact that Neil Gaiman works so well in bringing this images to life. And if it is that you're like, but Noria, you're not giving any synopsis for this book, so I'm sorry, this entire series is never about actually giving a synopsis of the book. It's just for me to just geek out and gush out about the things I like. So apologies if you don't like this video. Then there's Art Matters by Neil Gaiman, which is once again illustrated by Chris Reda. See, this in itself, almost every other page has art on it, has artwork on it. Isn't that pretty? And I love the symbolism of having that every other page, because see that, because in this, Neil Gaiman is telling us art matters. So, and it means this in a broad sense of the word, whether it is that you write or you draw or you paint or you perform or you sculpt, whatever form of creation, whatever form of putting into existence something that didn't used to exist before you stepped in, whatever that is for you, that is art. And in this book, that where he basically is encouraging us to create art, to make good art, no matter the circumstances, no matter the situation, I just think it's very fitting that it is populated with art. Like, gorgeous, absolutely stunning. And then there's the Shadowhunters Codex by Cassandra Clare and Joshua Lewis. This is one of those addendum books whereby it's not part of the core story, but if you're a full-on nerd like me, you want to find out exactly what are the traditions, exactly how do they work, what are the books that Shadowhunters study, and this is what we get with Shadowhunters Codex. And something like that would have otherwise been boring, which I think it helps that there's art in there. Like, you just be flipping the pages and boom, you see a picture of a woman that looks like Lilith. Like, look at her, look at that. And then you see some, like, I think art helps to sometimes break the monotony of words, but I think that sometimes, especially when it has to do with a book like this, which is like a glossary of some sort for another world that you've created as a fantasy writer, it helps so much to have art. And this was one of the reasons why I got the book. Not just because okay, fine, sure, I want to know more about Shadowhunters. It's that I think is probably going to be more interesting for me than the actual story itself. But I also love the fact that there's art in the Shadowhunters Codex. I think it elevates the story. A lot of people didn't get it. I got it because of the art. I actually considered not getting it, and then I just saw that there was art in it, and I'm like, oh my god, yes, definitely, please add it to my cart. Thank you. And I paid for it, and I can't wait to read it and just geek out over the art. I can't draw to save my life, so I appreciate when I see it in like forms in other work, like other people do it. It makes me very happy. This I'm making as one. It's the entire Spiderwick Chronicles by Ole Black. I got this as a gift from the amazing Miller. I also got the Graveyard Book, Coraline, and Who Spoiled the Milk. Like, Vendi sent me that, and Make Great Art was sent to me by Leah. Like, I have such amazing friends. But see Spiderwick Chronicles, look at that, look at that, look at the art. Pretty. This just takes me back to grade school, like 5th grade. This takes me back to 5th grade. Like, I would have loved this as a 5th grader, and I still love this as an adult. But just look at the art. I think it makes the story fly by faster. It helps me with understanding the characters and just getting the world. I love words. You all know I love words. I love reading them. I love writing them. But sometimes a picture does say 1,000 words, and it just takes my breath away. And I love seeing them in. I love seeing them in. Look at them. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. The cute little things. Like, I love art and books. It makes me so happy. And then there's Neverwhere, which was of course written by Neil Gaiman and illustrated once again by Chris Reda. I told you once it is that he finds somebody, like, you can tell when a writer finds an artist that they gel well with. They just bring them into their work, and Chris Reda just he has this way of capturing the characters, Neil Gaiman's characters, so well. I'm sorry I keep mentioning a lot of Neil Gaiman. You can see that Neil Gaiman definitely has a fondness for the art, because a lot of his books, especially when he's doing other editions, even if it is that the first edition didn't have art in them, if he can have an edition with art, he would always take it, and that just makes me so happy. But yeah, this I got from Blair. This was my Valentine gift last year, and I love that. I absolutely love that. Okay, so Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. And see, even from the start, you can see the rats. You can see the rats. If you read the series, if you read the book, you know the importance of the rats. Look at that. Look at that. I just love flipping a random page and just seeing art. Now it works with the text. How it works with the imagery. Like, look at that. Okay, see, lots of text, of course, but see that, bam, right there, bam, she fine. But yes, another book with art in it, Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman by Chris Riddell. I think that this is probably just me selling Neil Gaiman and Chris Riddell partnership, because the combination of words and art, like words that I love and art that take my breath away, is just a fantastic, brilliant combination. So yeah. Also, Neil Gaiman has written so many books. Not like I'm complaining, like it makes me very happy. I'm very happy that he's written so many books. And then there's Unnatural Creatures, which is not written by Neil Gaiman, even though Neil Gaiman is very big on the front page. But it's not written by Neil Gaiman, it's just that the stories were selected by Neil Gaiman. But this, I love the fact that every single story starts with a bit of art on it, right? See? And then, like, you see that dot is significant. Inclusion of that dot, very significant if you read that book. See, always starts with art, always has a bit of art in them. I love the little details. It's not as art heavy as the other books on this list, because it only comes in significant places like the start of the story. But I do like that inclusion. I think it just elevates the story, and sometimes it makes it even really, really way scarier, like the blot. The use of the blot in the story of the blot was so fucking terrified. I was terrified of the blot. Yes. And if you've not read it, you totally should. And then there's the last book I'm going to be talking about. Like, I'm going to be geeking out about. It is Dante's Divine Comedy, which of course has Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso. Look at that. Look at that. It is pretty gorgeous, and the art was done by Gustave Doré. I just look at it. You just go and flipping the pages, and boom, art meets you, and it's such pretty, terrifying, dark art, and it's just so well done. Like, look at that. These are legitimately arts you could print out, and frame. Isn't that pretty? I think it elevates and makes the story so divine, which Divine Comedy, I think it's fitting. But yeah, those are 10 books with art in them that I love. Let me know what are some of your favorite books with art that maybe you didn't even know was going to have art until the copy arrived, or until you flip it, or you're like, oh my god, there's art in this. Let me know. Drop them down in the comments down below. I like to find art in my books, and I definitely would love to hear your recommendations. But that is this video. If you liked it, please do not forget to give it a big thumbs up. Check out my other videos. Subscribe if you want to, and if you do decide to subscribe, click on that notification bell so you can know the minute I have a new video go up. I make new videos every Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I'll see you soon. Until then, stay passionate, love books, love yourself. Bye.